Namaste, royal pigeons out there. Welcome to your Monday flow. I hope you had a nice leafy weekend and thanks for joining me. So today we will be looking at bringing energy into the body, setting free those high tension areas with a bite-sized flow, expression, clearing a bit of breath, and planting ourselves more firmly in our body. Overall, this should feel quite empowering and releasing. There'll be a couple of deep options, so as usual, do take really good care of yourselves, and when you need to come back a little bit from your stretch or just take rest if you're not sure, just splay out. Okay, so we're going to start off in standing today towards the front of your mat. So when you're ready, just arms to your sides, maybe just a shake of the wrists. And bring a couple of nice rolls into your shoulders. Set them down from the ears. And then just take the left hand to the upper chest and the right hand to the belly. And I'd like you to just close the eyes as we just let ourselves find a little bit of stillness and quiet. So with your eyes closed, if they're not already, just starting to feel your breath as a rhythmic inner movement. Something we can deepen and something we can focus on to bring a little bit more attention to our body, our inner space, and what we're feeling today. Just a couple more breaths underneath both hands. Taking more space with each inhale. And then inhaling. Start to open up the eyes and take hands prayer position towards the chest. Interlacing those fingers, let's take a beach ball with your arms, just looking slightly towards your navel and just rounding out the shoulders. And then as if we're sort of stirring a really big pot here, we're just going to take those hands around to the right towards your chest and then back around and back to center. So when you just take a couple of these big circles, stir up that soup. Just find something in the shoulders, maybe in the neck, the ribs, to free up. Come into center, big breath in, big breath out. And just one more to clear, so maybe from the mouth as you breathe out. Let's stir the soup the other way. We want a nice even soup. Hands towards the chest and around to the right. And then just sort of feel out the movement. Take one more big circle. And find center, find stillness. A really gentle rounding to breathe in, breathe out. And one more to clear from the mouth. Inhale, let's turn those palms inside out. Feel your chest now starting to lift as you rise and stretch the fingers. Exhale, release those arms to your sides. Good. So we're going to lift your left foot, step that back and find your warrior two position. Right set of toes are going to face forwards, and you might bend in and out of the front knee for a moment if this is your first movement of the day. Just find a bit of warmth to open up that hip before we move into your warrior two. And let's take Gyan Mudra through both hands. So that's thumb to first finger. Just keeping a bit of focus through both arms. Releasing your left arm. Let's turn your right palm face up. Reach out of the hip. And then just bring your right arm around your shoulder and just roll that back down and out. Big breath in, lifting out of the hip. Big breath out, rolling down and back out. Just take one more if that feels good. Inhale. Let's start to move our whole body to face towards the left. So both sets of toes turn out to the left in your Prasarita stance. Full breath in, start to squeeze your shoulders together, find your thumbs and maybe interlace the full hand. If that's not feeling quite right today, maybe the hands are coming to their elbows. We're going to breathe in and breathe out to lengthen forwards from your hips. Thinking of your forward fold as that rotary movement. You can always bend your knees as you find your way down. The knees are sort of overlocking here. Re-stretching the legs, take another deep breath. And then exhale, let's release the hands. Give your head just a little shake, breathe. Enjoy just letting the torso hang nice and soft. And then we're just going to breathe to walk your hands towards the front of your mat, facing and framing your right foot. Let's step back to your plank position. Bring your shoulders over the wrists and spend a moment in your plank. If you need to, you can land the knees here. Just finding your breath, finding a bit of shoulder energy. Landing the knees first or hovering to come down to the belly, elbows either side of the ribs, like a press up or press down. Inhaling, hands behind you, either side of the hips, facing in for Shalabhasana. Just a little squeeze inwards. Arms like locust wings, either side of the body. A little squeeze of the glutes together. Crown presses forward so the neck stays really nice and free. Breathing into that warm belly breath for 2 more. See if you can sneak your hands underneath your shoulders here and move through Cobra as like a seesaw, just letting your toes move down and your chest move up. Exhaling, tuck your toes as you lift your hips and send back on that really nice elongated lumbar in your child's pose. Inhale, find tabletop, hands underneath the shoulders, and let's tuck the toes to lift the knees, rise and move back into down dog. Let's have a little pedal of the heels, a little swivel of the hips so that we find our flanks, our rib cage space, and making sure that the head follows the line of the spine. Always good to remind ourselves that our head is part of our spine, and just relax that between the arms. Taking one more full breath, pressing the ground away. Inhaling, let's look to the hands and take a step or a few steps forwards. Feet at your hips distance, exhale to fold. Taking a full breath to roll up, hands nice and heavy here. And maybe even taking 2 or 3 breaths to stack each vertebrae until our crown is really nice and tall in standing. Shoulders slide either side of your spine. Big breath in. Let's step your right foot back. Find your warrior two position. Right toes out to the side, left toes pointing forwards. You can bend in and out of the front knee if this is your first movement today. Let the hip know what's where it's at. And just make sure that you're not allowing the patella to drag inwards. We're landing the outer edge of the left foot. Nice even arms and Gaya Mudra through both hands, just to put a bit of focus through both hands. Breathing for 2 or 3 breaths. Exhale, we're going to relax the hands. The back hand just lightly touching your back thigh, putting strength into your legs, your torso as you reach up with that left arm out of the hip, freeing up that left side of the ribs, slightly leaning back, and then let's bring that left hand towards the shoulder and peel that out to get a little wrist stretch on the way. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, moving forwards and releasing. We can go 1 or 2 more. Find a bit of a deeper breath to work with. More expressive through that inhale, lifting, the exhale, softening. Big breath in, start to turn your left foot towards the right. So we're coming into both sets of toes facing over to your right side. This time we're going to bring your right hand down, your left arm up, and just keep crossing the arms over until we get to the shoulders. Big breath in, take a little lift of the elbow tips. Big breath out, elbow tips might come towards your belly button. Big breath in, elbows up. And out, elbows down. So you can carry on with the elbows as they are, or you can wrap into your forearms, bind into eagle arms. Inhale to lift. Same movement, exhaling to slightly round. Not pushing or forcing, just finding a little bit of scope in those in-between spaces. Inhaling, we're going to start to lift the elbows. And we're just going to push towards me, so towards your device. Keep lengthening your spine and find your way in a semicircle down until you find your center. So you're just painting a nice big arc with your upper body until we hang into fold. Exhale, unravel the arms. Again, just take a breath to release the head. Maybe softly let the breath go from the mouth. And then as we exhale, we're going to take a little bend in both knees and roll up. So again, heavy arms. So we're on a wide squat this time to bring ourselves up. Feel a little bit of that neck stretch and then lift the crown. Exhale, this time your left arm's going to come down. Your right arm's going to come up. And we're crossing over until we meet our shoulders. Big breath in to lift the elbows. Big breath out to take a little tuck towards the belly button. In and up. Exhale to tuck. So we're either going to continue with the arms as they are or wrap into your eagle binds all the way to the palm. Find a bit more space in the shoulders as we move between those 2 points. Just breathe to notice any little in-between space that we're occupying. As we exhale, take the elbows really nice and level. This time we're going to push away from your front foot and draw a semicircle back and away from me towards your right foot. And then finding your center as you release your head. Exhale, unraveling the arms when you're ready and taking just a releasing, pausing breath. Full breath in, start to walk your hands towards your left foot. So we're starting to walk and face the front of the mat again. Full breath in, let's take our vinyasa. Stepping back to plank, you can land the knees or belly as we did before, or take one vinyasa, elbow tips in, heart forwards, up dog, chin to chest, And back to down dog, just for a couple of deep breaths today. If you can, in this down dog, find some stillness. I just have to disrobe. So if you can, almost start to rise onto your tiptoes here. And over the next 3 breaths, slowly find more lift through your tailbone as you find more drop through both heels. So we're gradually finding opposition through the legs. 4 breath in, let's come back to the tiptoes and gently bend both knees to come into your tabletop. So we're going to untuck the toes so we're on our all fours. Hands underneath the shoulders, knees under the hips. And as if you could see your torso from above here today, we're just going to take a little circle. So we feel a little stretch through the wrists and through each hip bone. There might even be an element of that cat-cow through this movement, a little rounding in the shoulders or bringing the eyes forwards. So you can just sort of explore this round space. And when you're ready, just take yourself really nice and still. Set your hips back to your heels, stretch your arms forwards in your child's pose. You might take a clearing breath here, just settle the body. And then breathing in, let's find that tabletop again. We're going to do the same thing. This time we're spinning a circle the other way. So we're going to take your body around to the left. Back and round. And again, you might start to involve your shoulders, your hips, your neck. Maybe close the eyes so you're not worrying about the shape you're making. Just feel 2 more breaths, move your body around. When you're ready, nice even hips to come back to the heels in your child's pose. Forehead to the mat. So when you're ready, inhale, we're going to breathe in, start to walk your hands towards your shins. If they're not already, we're going to put them in line with the hips roughly so they're feeling quite supportive, and take the hands behind us with the fingertips facing forwards. And we're just going to open up the chest here, let the head drop slightly back. And we're going to go for 3 lifts of the pelvis. It doesn't have to be a really big movement. We're going to put some energy into the thighs. Lift those hips and then release as you exhale. So inhaling, we find some core strength, inner arms stretch, eyes maybe look up to the ceiling. Exhale, eyes start to look forwards as we bring the pelvis down. One more time, inhale to lift. Exhale, back down. Inhale, let's slide the hands forwards and come all the way back to the belly. So we're going to take a little hip wriggle here, make sure we feel quite nice and loose, soft across the floor. We're going to find our way onto your Sphinx pose here. So each elbow is underneath each shoulder, hands are flat to the ground. And try not to bunch your shoulders around the ears, we're going to spread those shoulders down. And without too much push, you might take a really gentle look down, chin to chest. And maybe even just a little semicircle with your nose side to side if your neck wants some space. Keep it really easy going though, nothing too pushy. Good. So inhaling, we're going to lift our gaze. So I haven't done this one too much. It's a little bit hard to explain. If you need to, you can pause me here as you need. So we're just going to take your left knee as a little frog's leg to move up and open to your left side. So we're creating this little right angle through your left hip. And you can start to bring a little bit of weight down through that left side of your body so that you're actually in a stretch here, moving towards Kamasthana. Just a bit of space in the hip, nothing too heavy going. And just breathe into that hip for another breath. Inhaling, we're going to start to send your left arm up and away. So we have space under that left armpit for your right arm to move through. We're going to weave the shoulder through and start to peel the left side of the chest and body back to your twist. So if you have obstacles in your way, furniture, you can shift around. We're just going to bring your left arm back and behind you, ending up in your twist along the floor. Left arm can move all the way open, or left hand might rest to the ribs. And just breathe here for 3 deep breaths. Feeling your twist, relaxing your face. And twisting often is a little bit of a detoxing feeling, rinsing the body out as we breathe. As we inhale, we're going to start to move back the way we came in. So we're rolling our chest forwards, maybe working up to the forearms and just sending both legs back. Allow yourself to come down back to the belly, this time with one hand on top of the other with the elbow tips wide. Just land your third eye nice and heavily on that top palm as we waggle the hips back to a bit of softness. Taking another deep breath to start to lift back to your Sphinx pose. Take another energetic lift of the crown, spread the shoulders down. And we're going to go for that little frog's leg on your right side. So you're just taking a small bend of your right knee out to the side. So it doesn't have to be at a right angle with your hips. If you're comfortable a bit softer than that, just take it further down towards the bottom of your mat. Let your chest and your hips try to sort of face the floor and breathe into that space in the hip. So here's where you may want to pause if you need to. You'll take your right hand forwards and take your left arm underneath that right armpit space. Feed it all the way through to the shoulder so that you can peel back with your right arm all the way into twist. Your right arm can be behind you or maybe on the ribs so that you're in a bit more of a chilled out twist. And just take a couple of really nice soft breaths here into the jaw. And breathing to start to reverse that. You can come to the forearms or hands as you slide your right knee back. And again, let's just take a moment, one palm on top of the other, elbow tips wide, and just rocking the hips. Big breath in, start to bring the hands underneath your shoulders, lift through your chest, back over tucked toes, and to one last down dog, inhaling. Exhaling, softening the heels down. either land your knees to find cross legs or jump through to cross legs, whatever feels good for you today. Let's set ourselves up in that seated pose, Sukhasana. Little shift of the hips, and we're going to move through one more expressive movement. Left hand outside the left hip. Inhale to rise your right fingertips and find a nice bit of side stretch to breathe through. And it doesn't have to be extreme. Keep rising, keep drawing the right hip down. Okay, we're breathing in here. And as we breathe out, we're going to look towards that left knee as we reach your right hand away from you. So we end up in that nice diagonal space, that flank stretch. Coming up the way we came down, pick up your right arm to look underneath it with your inhale. And bounce out to the other side as we breathe out, lifting and then sending those left fingertips over to your right. As we exhale, look down towards your right knee, send your left fingertips away from you. Find a bit of that cross fiber stretch. And we're going to come up with your next inhale back the way we came. As we exhale, let's come back down and just draw a big circle in front of you with both hands and over to your other side stretch. Exhale forwards with your right arm, follow with your left. Inhale, find your other side stretch. Taking one more of each, draw that nice big circle. As you pick up your arm, you might even look underneath it so you're slightly opening your chest. One more time, coming around, forwards and open, and looking under the arm. Exhale, come and find your forward fold in cross legs, dropping the head, breathing in and breathing out. Start to walk your chest up, bring your knees up, and bring your feet flat to the ground. Exhaling, we're going to round out the spine and come back to your semi-supine. So you're on your back, knees up and feet flat to the floor. Take a moment to do nothing at all, palms face down. Breathe into your relaxed, aligned vertebrae. We're going to find a little full stop for the lower back. Bring your left knee up and hook your hands to interlace around the back of the left thigh. Inhaling, we're going to see if we can send that left leg up. If we can't keep hold of that thigh with interlaced hands, just take your hands really lightly to the thigh, or maybe even hands to the ribs. Breathing in and breathing out, just feel some nice weight on those lumbars. We're going to send your right leg away to stretch. Big breath in, start to release your hands. We're still taking hands towards this left leg as we start to find almost a little bit of your stomach crunch and just reach your chest upwards off the ground and see if we can hang on a little bit taller to that leg to stretch a bit deeper. Might be the calf or the ankle here. Exhale, start to bring the bend back into your knee and relax your back all the way to the ground. Big breath in, big breath out. One more, maybe clearing breath from the mouth. And then we're gently going to let go of that shin to step your foot face down, knee up towards the sky. Inhale, let's drag your right knee towards you and send that one up into the air. So again, we're going to either take your thigh really lightly with the hands, or if you can, we're going to link the hands, interlace them behind your right thigh, so you get a bit more weight on the lower back and a bit more of a sort of energy back through the shoulders and arms. Breathing in and breathing out, let's start to send your other leg away from you along the ground. Taking another breath here. We're releasing the hands so they're still connected to the leg, just a bit more lightly. Use a little bit of your stomach muscles here to peel your chest and head off the ground. Use a little bit of the lower abdominals and walk the hands a bit higher. Perhaps we're going to stop at the calf or the ankle here to stretch a bit deeper. Exhale. Let's start to release and bend the knee, relaxing your spine and squeezing that shin towards you, breathing in and breathing out. Maybe one more clearing breath. Inhaling. Let's start to pick up your left knee. Squeezing in both shins. Maybe just take a small rotation over your lumbers with your kneecaps. You're sort of massaging those lumbers, keeping them really nice and soft. Breathing through them as we reverse that circle. Take that massage the other way. As a last movement here, and a nice kind of full stop, we're going to take your knees apart and find a Baddha Konasana on your back. So soles of the feet are together, we're reaching down for the shins or ankles. You can keep this really mellow today, just find a little bit of hip space. If you want to, one more time, we're going to use a little bit of your stomach muscle energy to lift your chest and take both hands with both feet. See if you can bring your chest, your head back to the ground to relax your spine. A little extra weight over the lumbers and a little extra squeeze on the feet to open the hips. Breathing for the last 3 here. And if you haven't already considered, just keeping the eyes closed, consider how you're feeling right here. Feel, if we can, make the breath fuller and the jaw and face muscles softer. Starting to release the feet, catch the knees to squeeze those in together, and we'll just set your feet to the floor. Lift your arms above your head and stretch out like a big yawn. Legs out long, arms up and above. Exhale with a little flop of your arms either side of your hips. You might breathe to clear, and then see if you can let your breath take over. We'll be here just a few moments with our quiet and our effortlessness along the floor, just practicing stillness. very gradually, let's start to make our way back to our bodies. Feel that you give every single part of your body permission to let go and be held by the floor. Let's focus on our inhales to bring in some space and energy. Just emptying your breath out. And then the last couple of breaths. Focus on that exhale as a release. Starting to wriggle your fingers and toes. And start to draw your knees up towards you. Let's take a little squeeze here. Keeping the eyes soft or even closed as we roll to your left, bundle up into a little ball on your side. Spend a moment feeling the ground that supports, and then finding your way gently up to cross legs. And as we find our way up, let's take the hands together. Take a little bit of friction between the palms. Feel that little bit of energy we're stirring up. And a healing and soothing energy which we're going to take over our closed eyes to finish. Imagine that sort of draining away any tension from the back of the eyeballs. When you're ready, bring the hands together towards your chest, lifting your gaze and then bowing to yourself. Namaste. Thanks so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoy flowing, and I will really look forward to seeing you here or in class soon. Thank you.